big risk for the global markets as Japan reports a contraction in their growth. So overnight, Japan did report their GDP for Q4 of 2019. And guys, I have to really stress how much of a negative number this is, minus 1.6%. Minus 1.6%, that's a huge contraction in comparison to last quarter, the last reading of 0.4%. Now, this was attributed to the consumption tax that was introduced by the government, so hurting businesses and of course consumers. Also the bad weather didn't help this reading, but the policymakers in Japan, the BOJ, were forecasting for this reading to come in at a contraction, but I'm sure not as deep as minus 1.6%, one, and two, at the time as well, they were certainly not thinking or even aware of the damages or even it existing the coronavirus. So now they have the coronavirus as another negative factor, added weight on the Japanese economy. So that's going to be carried through to this next reading. So the Q1 of 2020 is going to be a huge bit of data that's going to be heavily scrutinized. Because remember, I've spoken about this on a number of occasions. Markets are going to be heavily watching all of data for February, okay? At the moment, we've been seeing January data, but we're waiting for February data to see how much of an impact the coronavirus is having on economies globally, right? So it's quite key to note that Japan is the fourth largest economy in the world, right? Excuse me, actually not the fourth, the third. So you've got the United States, you've got China, and then you've got Japan. So Japan's the third largest. The fact that a huge economy is reporting a contraction in GDP, and if they go and do that again, that's going to spark massive sell-off. Why? Because technically, if you report two contractions in your GDP, that is a technical recession, which would then spark massive sell-off. We'd see sell-off in stocks, we'd see huge flights into safe havens, gold, Swiss franc. I don't know how yen's going to react, to be honest with you, because it's a tricky one. Bear in mind, yen is a safe haven, but then it's its own economy that's faltering. So a tricky one to trade there. So do keep an eye on this. It's just a theme to be aware of because that could have a negative and a ripple effect across the markets, all right? These are the things you need to think about fundamentally as well, and don't get caught off guard by these sort of themes because they happen quick and fast, and you're better off knowing about them to be in tune with the markets. Other than that, guys, look, at the end of the day, all this can be overwhelming, certainly can be overwhelming. I love it personally, but it can be overwhelming. It's why we make it all digestible for our members via freaknetwork.io, or you can learn about all of this. You can learn about all this yourself and understand it, baby, at forexfundamentals.io. So freaknetwork.io and forexfundamentals.io. Other than that, let's get it.